Welcome to Wisdom and Hustle, where I'm having candid conversations with seasoned entrepreneurs about their journey towards success. You'll hear about their why, the challenges, the lessons learned, and a little bit of advice. I'm your host, Felicia Brown. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Valerie Woods, the founder of Val Woods CPR, where she teaches the importance of CPR to youth, adults, healthcare providers, and communities at large. As a nurse, she happened upon entrepreneurship when her brother passed away. Not understanding what to do with her grief, her son encouraged her to educate and inspire others that we are all lifesavers and we can make a difference. Welcome, Val.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm excited to have you here with me. I was just inspired by your story about like your nurse, and now you're doing the CPR. And I guess in the world it makes sense, but how it came to be. So now you're a nurse by training. Why this business?
So like you said, I lost my brother in 2018. I did 2 years of just now what? And like you said, my son was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And so I did a 21-day fast just to refocus, reconnect with myself, like really try and process what was going on. And it was a little easier because we were in shutdown. So everybody was silent and distancing themselves from each other. And while I was sitting there, I said, wow, CPR just came into my head. And I said that so many people don't know how to do CPR, or they know how to do it, but they're not comfortable and confident enough to do it when it matters the most. Because it was people around, some of them might have been trained even, but they waited for EMS to get there and he didn't make it.
Yeah, and Val, you shared this story about the fact that, he was with his girlfriend and even sometimes when we know CPR, like it's one of those things like and maybe not you're not confident. And she was with him and it happened.
And then you don't always realize right away that this is it. Like, this is it right here. I have a few girlfriends, they work as operators for 911. And they said they will hear the person doing what they call agonal breaths, which aren't normal breaths. It's like gasping. And they're like, start CPR. And they said they could hear the wife in the background, like, no, he's breathing, he's breathing. And they're telling them like, no, start CPR now.
Wow. And I would probably venture to say that, like we get these trainings on our job, they offer them in the community like you're trying to do. But when that moment comes, you're like, can I really do this? And so I think that's that level of fear that happens, that sets in when you're in the moment. And that's probably what happened to your brother's girlfriend. Maybe she was or wasn't, but she was like, oh my God, what do I do to save him?
Well, she didn't know that it was that go time. So he was still doing so he was responding. And
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they arrived, they pulled him out the car and they started immediately.
Got you. And now you have this business, turning your pain into purpose is what I would say. And how did you build this confidence that you could actually be a business owner and turn this thing that you feel is so important and critical into a business?
It started actually at my church. I had the idea, and that summer of the idea, our church did a BYOB, Build Your Own Business. It was a 6-week course, and they had entrepreneurs from the community that belong to our church each one took a week, and they told us about all the different resources that were available as you start to build your business, as you're thinking about your idea, like coming in and doing just a really quick overview of everything you need. So I was determined, and I was like taking notes and getting the pass outs every week. And once it was over with, I was like, okay, you have two choices. You could really put this into play, or you could go back to life as you know it. What was that? The two pills on the matrix?
Right.
I said, I'm going for the adventure. What the heck? Let's do it. And so I just started making phone calls. I started with small business administration, which led me to SCORE, which led me to a mentor. And then he had all these amazing resources that led me to NABO, that led me to the AARP NABO program. And it just kept going. Like, it's like once you put your foot in there, that water just keeps going, girl. It just like, and I mean, sometimes I was going under, but I had made good connections along the way, and they was like, girl, come on, pull up.
And that's what I was going to ask you, Val. Like, did you feel like you were drowning in all this information? Like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. And I would imagine, like, maybe other people who were in your class, they were feeling the same way.
Yes. Yes. So we built our own little community. It was 3 of us, and then we got connected to a lady that's not far from my house. And she had just got a grant to help women entrepreneurs, because they said in Cleveland, it was the worst place to start a business. So she did not like hearing that. So she, like, it lit a fire under her. She started what they call Naomi. And it's just to encourage women to do their thing. And so we were a part of that. Then, like I said, it just kept going, and one thing led to the next. And I was like, girl, what are you doing? I was like, let's just keep going though.
And so in it's I have this sign that says do it afraid anyhow, or something to that nature,
Mm-hmm.
do it afraid. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Afraid. And so that's what it sounds like. You were very afraid, which, Val, that's not any different from, other business owners, people who want to start a business, who have an idea. They think, and of course, you think that everybody is going to like buy whatever it is, or, you just really do. You think that you have stumbled upon the greatest thing since mankind. And what you realize is it's hard. It's hard convincing people that you need this, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is, you need this.
I'm a nurse. Like, I'm a nurse. I work in nursing homes. I work in clinics. And I thought, easy peasy. I'll just give them my card and the classes will just fill up. No.
And so that really leads me into like the challenges. Like, what were some of the challenges that you experienced as when you started to like, I'm going to be a business owner?
So it was that belief. So that was the first one in myself. Like, you can do this. You can do this. Like, I'm an amazing worker. Like, if you give me exactly what I need to do, I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it, and I'm going to do an amazing job at it. I love my patients. I love the clients that I come across in the different settings. But then when it was mine, it was like, wow, what do I do? How do I do this?
Isn't that interesting? Like, all of a sudden, everything you thought you knew kind of falls out your ears a little bit. And you're like, wait a minute, I was doing this just a few months ago. And like now, because I've invested in myself, what the heck is going on here? And so, like, you leaned into that, but like, how did you continue to say, woo, I'm believing in myself. I'm believing in myself. That mantra.
So I did a group of ladies from Canada. We would meet virtually. It was about 10 of us. The leader was in Canada, but the ladies were everywhere. And it was all about it is possible. And so that was her whole thing. It wasn't for business owners. It was just for self-development. And that was 1 year for me. It was a 1 year program and it was fire. And I mean, like, yes, like you said, like I tell the students, your heart is probably going to be beating in your throat. Your armpits are probably going to be itchy and sweaty. You're probably going to feel like you got to pee and boo boo at the same time. But get over yourself. You got to save a life. And so that's what I literally would tell myself. Some rooms I literally would walk in and I would feel like I was about to faint. And I was like, girl, get over yourself. This is your opportunity. You get to meet this person. Come on, don't pass out now. Let's say hello to them.
It's like meeting an actor, right? That you've been watching on the screen forever and ever. And so you're in this cohort. What are you learning in this cohort about yourself and about being a business owner?
That I really do care. Like I care beyond. So here's what happens. So when I get into that place and my heart is, I could feel it literally beating in my throat. I could feel my armpits like itchy and sweaty. I tell myself, girl, get over yourself. You got the knowledge. You have the skills. They're going to love you. Like this person, let her go. She died. Let her rest in peace. We out here now. Let's do this. And I literally go into the room and I'm like, hey, everybody, because I'm the brand. Y'all here to see me.
I love it. I love it. You are the brand.
Yes.
Yes.
And then I just go and I do what I do. And then it's just like, it just flows. But I would be remiss if I didn't say it's tons of prayer as I'm getting from the car to the building to the door. Like, God, don't leave me now. Don't leave me now, Jesus. Don't leave me.
And so what, and I'm curious, Val, what aspect of that is most fearful to you? Is it because you, like you said, you know CPR, you've been doing this forever and a day. So what aspect of that is fearful?
Just the initial getting up in front of the class or the initial getting up in front of a group of business owners or the initial like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I know how to do CPR. I know how to tell you the difference between heart attack, stroke, cardiac arrest. I know all that stuff. But then it's the behind all of that. Like, I want you to see the real Valerie so that you're not like, I don't know if I could sit here and listen to this girl for 2.5 hours. So I try to bring the fun, but I'm like, okay, well, they're serious because they're corporate. So I don't want to go too silly. But then when I just relax, corporate, it doesn't matter who it is. We're going to have fun. That's what we do. We have fun in my classes. And even if I try to be serious, it's going to end up being fun.
And so since you've taken this plunge, as I will say, who has been some of your clients? Like, and how did those happen?
Wow. So my one client that I was really, all of my clients I'm very excited to have, every stinking one of them. But the one that like, I was like, for real? Were when people wanted me to come to Michigan or Columbus. And I said, like, wow, how many instructors are between here and Michigan or here in Columbus? And it just made me feel like, wow, very grateful. One in particular was a company that I get my products from. They wanted me to come and do their training. And so how I met them, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I wanted to teach CPR. I knew I needed a mannequin. And so I called the company and I was like, hey, I want top of the line stuff. I said, I was like, so just walk me through what I need. I was like, this is my first time, teaching the classes, but I said, I want top of the line equipment because I want to go out here and I don't want any messed up equipment or anything like that. When I walk in, I want everything to represent Val Woods CPR. The lady was so nice. And so she said, "What's your budget?" I said, "Oh." And I said, "Okay."
You you forgot
I
about
did
that
that,
little
Kevin Hart.
small
My
important.
checking account connected to my banking account. So she got me together. She got me together. We started with small, not small, not messed up stuff. That just meant instead of 6 mannequins, I could only get 3 to start out with, but I still wanted the nice stuff.
So you
And
got 3 nice mannequins.
very nice
There
mannequins,
you have it.
all of the gadgets and gadgets that come with them to make us have a real life scenario. And every time I go into a classroom, it never fails. At least one student will say, "Your mannequins are very nice." Like, I mean, I have the bells and whistles.
And think about it. If you're gonna come out the gate, if Val CPR LLC is gonna come out the gate, you gotta come out, right? You're gonna come out strong. And so that's what it's about, like
Yes,
coming out strong. And so you didn't start with 6 or 10, but you started out with 3 very quality products
yes,
that people could they practice on, right?
yes. And it gives instant feedback. So you know right away if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
I hear you. I love it. I love it. And so in terms of motivation, you spoke about like these podcasts that you listen to because you want to get in the right mindset. And I would imagine
Mm.
being in the right mindset is important if you're gonna stay in this hustle. And so
You better say that.
share with us how you stumbled upon those, what those are, and how they got carries you through.
So my first one I stumbled upon, shout out to Eunice, my really amazing, I don't even know what to refer to as a friend, a mentor, I'm not sure. But I had a class coming up, my first class, and it was BLS for the nurses. And I know how to teach a BLS class. I watched the videos for the last, what, like 18 years. And so I was just like, if I could just, see somebody do it. So I went on YouTube and I just was fumbling around, came across Eunice. She looked fun. And I was like, okay, let me just push play. So I pushed play to watch her class. She had the whole class on there, it said. And that thing cut off halfway. And I said, no. And I went back on and I clicked it again and said, video has been removed. I said, why? And so I went back on. And then I was like, I got to find her. So I called her and she answered. And I said, where is the video? I said, I need the video. I have need of the video.
This is my lifeline right now.
So she sent me the video. I clearly remember this. This was 3 years ago. She sent me the video. And so the two of us we hit it off on that phone call and we would just talk and chit chat. She would encourage me. She's been in the field, I don't want to get it wrong, I think like 15 years. But I found out she was down in Florida and I was like, I'm coming to see you. I said, as soon as I make my way around, I'm coming to see you. And we met. I went to her studio. My aunt lives in Florida, so I made a whole trip of it. I was determined, like you said, this was for me. Like, this was for me. So if a job was going to send me somewhere to be better, I would instantly get on that plane and go. But this was for Val Woods CPR. So family trip, we all went down there. We met her. We hung out with her for the day. I learned a lot from her. It was worth the trip. And then from that, it just kept going. I met a lot of amazing people, like the manufacturer of the mannequins. I met the fancy mannequin company, like the real people behind the company.
Amazing. Amazing. And so Are there others? Like I know you talked about these podcasts, like that keeps you in the zen, in the zone, like keeps you
It's
keeps your mind
so
clear.
it's so many of them. Then I had went away a little bit with oh, I can't remember what is his name. He passed away. Hmm,
Oh,
Proctor.
ah,
Proctor Gallagher. I was watching him for a while there, and I just was like, wow, he was entertaining. So I just watched him, and I was like, okay, I like that. And I loved what he would always say about every day is decision day. And so I was like, okay, it's decision day. Even if you don't make a decision, you made a decision and not make a decision. So I said, well, never wanting to make a no decision day. So at least I want to have a say so on the day.
I love that. Like even if you decide not to do anything, that's the decision that you made that day. And be okay with that, right? Like that's where you landed on that day. So Val, I want to pivot a little bit to the
Okay.
operations of
Okay.
business. Like you made a decision to open Val CPR. You got your equipment. You tipping your toe into like getting the business brand out there. And so what have you found to be like the most challenging of actually running this business?
The most challenging.
Or even it's like some lessons learned at like as you've been along this journey.
So the most challenging lesson learned, I think it would be like the same. So I'm a giver by nature. So when it comes to a class in a community that really wants to do the class and they're like, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. I'm like, okay, well, let's just work it out. Let's just do it. And so then it turns into a give. And so my mentor and I, we kept butting heads because he was like, well, so is this a hobby or a business? Like, which one are you doing? And I was like, I know it's a business, but they need to know how to do it because they're the ones in the community and they need to know how to do it. So I don't want to tell them no. And then it's one of, somebody I know. And then they're like, oh, well, if you had taught us how to do it, we would have been able to say that person. But anyway, that was a bit extreme, but still. So I struggle sometimes when it's like I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do that. So how I went around that, God blessed me to find this amazing organization, Make Them Know Your Name. And they're out in the community and they are a nonprofit. And we go out and we teach people how to do CPR. And I go out, I volunteer with them. So it gives me my feel good of giving back to the community. And I get to volunteer with an amazing organization.
That's great. That's great. And so, you're in business now. And as your mentor has told you, like, is this a hobby or is this a business? And you got to make money. And like this is the thing that you've said is going to feed you and your children and your husband. And so, like, what have you learned? What has been some of those tough lessons as a business owner that you had to like, oh my God, like I have to do all of this? And I just want to help people save lives.
Exactly. I just want to teach classes. And I want to have an AP department, which I didn't even know what that was when I started, but now I know. So I want to have an AP department that handles all of that. I want human resource, y'all handle that. I want marketing, y'all handle that. I want a social media department, y'all handle that. And it was like, yeah, no, you don't have money for that, sister. So you're going to be handling all of that. So learning how to do social media, learning how to ask for my money, getting it up front before I go to class
Mm.
because it was a hard lesson. I did a class. I was so excited. I don't even know if I can say this, so if I can't take it out. But it was a nursing home in a very nice neighborhood. I did the training. It was 15 of their directors. They needed the card. I gave them the card. And then I waited. And I waited and I waited. And they went out of business within 4 months. Shut down. They were shut down.
The joy.
So I learned a lesson. I said, that was on you.
Yeah.
That was on you. And I said, and I always have to look at the glass half full. I said, at least that wasn't like a very expensive lesson. Like, I mean, it could have been a 50-person class. And then my feelings would have been hurt. But it was 15 people. Lesson learned.
Gotcha. And so, when you think about being in business, it is very overwhelming. Like, it's overwhelming because there's so many things that need to be done that kind of get in the way of you just making this widget. Like, I just want to sell hair care products, or I just want to, I just want to sell blank. I mean, like that, whatever that thing is. And there's so many wheels that have to turn in the background, that keep the product out there. And so did you secure a mentor? Like, where did you learn all these nuts and bolts because like, if you ask me to do social media, like what you want me to do, post on Facebook, Instagram, like, sure, but it's more to it than that, right?
Absolutely. So again, I go right straight back to the cohorts. NABO, I love NABO. So how did I come across NABO? So I was with Small Business Administration, went to SCORE, and then my SCORE mentor is amazing. So I'll sign up for all these little events that they have, and then I'm always putting my name on something. Well, then I get an email inviting me to try 2 free breakfasts or 2 free events with NABO. And I was like, well, what is that? And so I went online and I was like, And I was like, I'll try it. Let's see. So it was about 30 minutes from me. It was at 8:00 in the morning. I walked in the room and I looked around and I was like, okay. I was like, we're going to try it anyway. Let's just see. So I go over and I'm like, hi, I'm Val Woods. And so they're like, hey, welcome. Come on, have a seat. It was 1 whole hour of them sharing the most amazing business tips in the world. Some of these women have been in business for 20 years, 5 years, 15 years. And I was like, I can't believe they're sharing all their secrets. Like, this stuff is good. And I was taking notes at the table. I didn't even drink my coffee. Like, I was just sitting there taking notes. And I said, man. And so when it came around to my turn to, say, what did I like from the meeting? I was like, I'm sorry, do y'all do this every time y'all get together? And they were like, just help each other? And I was like, yeah. And so I went back for my second free try and they did it again. And I said, man. And then I found out they had an online version in the evenings that met once a week. And so I started doing that because that was easy as well. It was like just Zoom in. And then during that call, we found out about the Ready to Grow program. And I was like, oh my goodness. I said, let me just apply for it and see what happens. And I applied for it. And it was weeks of learning, like a water hose being poured just all over you, refreshing you. I won't say like knocking me down. It was very refreshing because yes, that call, the Zoom time, it was a lot of information, but I was like, it's all good because when I get off of here, I'm going to connect with one of these ladies and they're going to walk me through it. So each week I found somebody that I wanted to talk to and they will walk me baby steps through, hey, it's real simple. Here's how you start your social media. Do you have process and procedures in place? Like if you were to go to the hospital, could your family like continue where you left off? How would they know which class is coming up next week? How would they know who to call? How would they know who to cancel if none of you could make it? Are you the only person in the business that knows all of this? And I mean, then it was finances. This is what you need to do with your finances. This is what we recommend because they can't tell me what to do, but they were like, well, this is some of the things that we did that worked for us. And I mean, powerful speakers every week. This is like my first cohort, powerful speakers every week. And one of them that stood out was Precious Williams. And I mean, I was like, wow. And they were like, well, you don't have to do the pitch competition, because she came on to talk about pitching, of course. And I was like, yeah, some of these ladies have been in business forever. They worked at the White House. They did this, they did that. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do the pitching thing. And it was like, I instantly could hear God like, you're doing the pitching thing, okay? And so I have to tell you, I hate to put this on camera, but it was a 5-minute video. Like, that's all you had to do was a 5-minute video. First of all, I reached out to people that I had met along the way, and one of them I knew, he judged pitching, he judged pitches, and he was in Michigan. And I was like, hey, favor, you said if I ever need you or I have an idea, call you. So I was like, I got an idea. Would you be interested in listening to my pitch? And he was like, sure. He was like, I'll listen to it. And so that was very beneficial. And he was like, you got this. Now you got to do is record it. I thought, okay, I'm going to get up Wednesday morning, 5 minutes, in and out of there, done. I started recording at 7 a.m. I was done at 9 p.m. Because I did not know how to edit, copy, paste, none of that junk. So I could get all the way to 4:59, and I would say, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, why? Why? And so it was like, okay, start over. Then I was like, okay, we need a break. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. And so then it was done, and I was happy with it. I was so happy with it. And then when I found out, I was on my way to Austin, Texas to be before 700 women business owners from all over the world. And everything was included. It was going to be paid for. I didn't have to figure none of that out. All I needed to do was get myself to the airport, and that's it.
Love
I
it.
mean, that's it. Once I got to Texas, I went to check in. I said, hi. I was like, I'm Val Woods. You know, I had reservations. They had already done that. I didn't do that. And the lady was like, oh, we have something for you. And they give me a gift bag. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is amazing. And then the lady was there. It was just a beautiful time. I'm not going to talk about that so much, but it was a game changer. I had a booth. So when I do events, I have a table, and the table is a table. And I put my tablecloth on. I have my mannequins. I put some mannequins on the floor. When I arrived in Texas, it was a booth. Like, it was a room.
You went from a table to a booth.
And it was next to a big company. I don't know if I can say it, but it was next to a big company. And we were able to just talk like, it was an amazing experience.
And Val, just through that whole experience, what it says is you belong in those rooms. It doesn't matter if a organization, a business has been in existence for 30, 40 years. Like, what you've done the work. What you've done is you've learned from others, and you belong there. Like, that's really what that was saying. Like, you belong in that room, you belong in other rooms, and other doors will open. And so that's really what this is all about. Like, that's what this journey that business owners are on will take them. If you are doing what you're supposed to do, then you'll be in those rooms that you think you're not supposed to be in. You'll be at the table talking to people that you admired from afar. And so the universe will make it happen, right? The universe will make it happen. And so just in the time that you've formulated, created, opened Val Woods CPR, like, what has been the thing that you're most proud of and that you really want people to understand as they might be embarking on their journey?
So I am very excited that I was allowed to see. We had a Sunday school teacher that would tell us, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I still thought that is no, it still feel like work. And I love nursing, but nursing, a lot of days it felt like work. And some days it did. It felt very good. I tell you, when I go out to teach these classes or when I go out to speak at events, it's fun. And I know I'm working, but I'm having a lot of fun. I feel connected to my brother. I feel like I'm still, doing this for him. I feel like every time that American Heart Association video plays and the guy comes on and he says, "Hi, my name is Kurt." And I'm like, that's my brother's name. Like, how, like, I mean, it's just so many like little things that God just makes me smile with. And it's like, yeah, we're out here and we're teaching people how to save lives. That is why I'm out here. Other than that, I would be still doing my nursing, doing my little thing, and going on my little vacations. But I still go on vacation. But I have to be honest with you. It's so much fun that my family has to say, turn it off. Turn it off. Turn the laptop off. Laptop off.
I mean, Val, that's probably not any different from other businesses owners either. Like, they
See,
don't
when
know
I was nursing, when I
how to
came home, I
decompress
was home.
because that was your job. It was your job. Now this is you've invested in this. You've
Yeah.
invested and you vested.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so a lot of like yourself, and I have a really good friend, Linda Bishop. She says the same thing. She's like, yeah, we just have to turn, it's the holidays. Let's turn it off. Turn it off. No computer tomorrow.
Got you. Got you. And so what is the one thing what is the one thing that you know now that you wished you knew when you started Val Woods CPR?
It was what you said at the beginning. Do it afraid. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Literally. Like, walk in the room. If you're invited, go in there, own it. Like, be you. None of that, humping over. A girlfriend sent me the Superwoman pose. And so I was like practicing my Superwoman poses. So none of that hunched over, none of that, looking down, none of that, you're sitting on your hands. No, I know what I'm doing. I belong in this room and we're going to have fun. I'm in here and we're having fun. That's it. That's it.
I love it. I love that your mantra is I belong here. I belong here. And so what's next for Val Woods CPR?
So what is next for Val Woods CPR? A lot of things. So we have a book coming out, a children's book. I'm so excited about that. Val Woods CPR is venturing off into next phase of what I always really wanted to do. It's adult daycare. So like caring for my elderly population, like I really love doing that. I've started a little bit with that before my brother passed away. And then when he passed away, it kind of went to the background. Then COVID happened. And yeah, so now we're back revisiting it and just seeing what it looks like. So I'm really excited.
That is awesome. Awesome. And so before we close, where can people find you?
ValWoodsCPR.com. We're located in Highland Heights, Ohio. We would love to see you. Give us a call, 440-290-6012. info@ValWoodsCPR.com.
Wonderful. And so Val, I like to always close with reminding folks that wisdom and hustle really are the two kind of ingredients to business success. And so what is your word of wisdom for starting and staying in the hustle?
Remember that there are people waiting on you to do what you need to do so that they can do what they need to do.
Two snaps. Val, thank you so much for joining me and all of your insights and all of your learnings, all of your challenges and lessons learned. Like, thank you so much. And I hope that this story will be an inspiration for others who are perhaps thinking about starting a business or just needed those little nuggets to stay in the hustle. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.